Nobody greater than the God we serve. He's so good, yeah. Endure forever. Endure forever. It goes on and on and on and on and on. Worship and give you the praise. I shall bless your name for the rest of my days. I'll
worship and give you the praise.
Shall bless your name.
Shall bless your name for the rest of my days.
Oh,
Worship and give you the praise.
shall bless your
Shall
name.
bless your name for the rest of my days.
Worship and I'll give you the praise
Give you the praise.
because you've been so good. Welcome world, welcome world. Hey, good everybody. How are you guys doing? I'm so glad to be here today. This is the Gifted Conversation Podcast 2.0, and I am your host, Jonathan Hodges. Today is going to be an amazing day, an amazing podcast. Listen, I want you to call somebody, text somebody, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, and let them know that the Gifted Conversation Podcast 2.0 is on the air, and we are live. We are in TikTok. We are on YouTube. We're on Facebook today. So listen. Tell somebody that we're out there. And also, I want you guys to buckle up and get ready because this is going to be a ride. Today, we're talking about declarations. It's just important to speak over yourself every day of your life. Who knows? What would have happened or how far would we have been or how many greater things would we have done had we heard you can do all things through Christ from the time you were born? Declaration. That's it. You can do all things. So today I have a special guest with me today. His name is Prophet Jeremiah Davis, and he is from right here in North Carolina. We grew up in Dunn together.
There you go.
I wanted to say that.
I already knew you was about to go there.
We grew up in Dunn together.
I
went
did not
to churches together.
I did not grow up in
Don't
Dunn.
act like we didn't grow up in Dunn. I hope his mama's watching tonight. I hope your mama
I
is
lived
watching.
in Dunn for 6 months. My parents had a church in Dunn.
For how many? It
Don't matter.
Yes, it do.
I did
You
not
grew
grow up in Dunn.
That's right. Because y'all had church all the time. Y'all was always in church.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, John.
And then if you ate, you had to go down the street, eat, and go back to church. You ate and done. You slept and done. You did your homework and done.
No, it was legit around the corner though.
Yeah, I know.
But
I know.
6 months I lived in Dunn.
Okay, well, let me finish introducing you first.
All
He
right,
is
go
a
ahead.
Grammy. What are you? I'm just kidding. No. This is my homie, y'all. I'm telling y'all, we've been friends for a long, long time, and I'm so glad to have him today. I'm just so honored to have you for real because I'm very
appreciate
proud of what you're doing and the accomplishments that you've achieved. So, just thank you for being with me today.
I appreciate it.
everybody. Jeremiah Davis, the prophet.
The prophet is wild.
Okay. Thank y'all so much. I want y'all to be in the comment sections if you have any questions or whatever. Just let us know. But listen, so Prophet Jeremiah, thank you so much for being with us. For real.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. What are you so tickled about?
Because the people in the comments,
What they doing? Is
So-
it them?
yeah, it's them. Kira talk about thank you for not being, look at you not being ashy because my hand's always ashy. But
Oh,
I put on
my
lotion
goodness,
before I got
Kira,
here.
come
So
on, baby.
thank you,
What in the
Kira.
world?
I appreciate it.
Get out of them comments. That's why I don't even pull them up because they be saying some
And she
stuff
talking
trying to
about
throw
the
me
top.
off.
Okay.
I told him, I said, what is that made out of, man? The guy said cloth.
This is the cloth that Jesus
Shirt.
was wrapped in.
Swaddling clothes.
Swaddled.
You know why they call them
is it.
swaddling clothes, right?
Why?
They had
Okay. All right.
Dookie on all kinds of stuff. They want all that clean and
Oh,
white
man.
and stuff. But thank God for your shirt. I said, look at got a little clergy shirt on. I like
And it's
that.
not a. You know what?
That thing
Let me
is-
unbutton this
You
top
wrapped
button.
up, tied up, and tangled up tonight, man of God. Don't get loose up in here. This is holy ground. Let me tell you
crazy.
something. But that's a nice shirt though, for real.
Appreciate it.
But listen, tonight we're talking about declarations, y'all. We just cutting the food. I'm gonna pay some bills real quick, and we're gonna be right back. Y'all hold still. We appreciate you tuning in. Here's a word from our sponsors. Hey guys, today's podcast is brought to you by TMG Studios. The ultimate content creator studio is near downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. TMG Studios has helped launch several fully branded and monetized podcasts. Their modern video podcast studio is designed to help you reach your target audience and monetize your social media content. Reach out to them today at tmgstudios333.com. That web address again is www.tmgstudios333.com. Hey, Convo Kings and Convo Queens, we are on YouTube. Go type in the Gift of Conversation Podcast 2.0 and never miss your favorite episodes.
This is Sister Sharice. You are listening to the world's best online radio station, KPMM Radio. I want to invite you to tune in to Answer the Call with Pastor Neil and me, Sister Sharice, on Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, or if you're on the East Coast, 1 p.m. And if you happen to miss us, don't worry. We are on again Wednesday morning, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time and 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Answer the call. Your time is now. Answer the call. Your time is now.
All right, y'all, we back. I was looking for some pictures. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened to my actual. I think I downloaded just the audio. Y'all pray for me. I'm
Y'all
learning.
clap for him real quick.
No, don't clap for me. Clap
Yeah,
for
good job,
yourself
John.
because
Good
listen,
job,
this stuff
good job.
hard. It's real hard. But listen, we are here today. We're talking about declarations, and we are with Prophet Jeremiah Davis. He has his book, and it's called Declare: 21 Days of Positive Affirmations. First of all, I want to know about you, Prophet.
Okay.
Tell us about your life.
I don't have the time. No, stop. I don't even know where to start.
Tell
So
us how you grew up.
how I grew up in the church.
We knew that.
I was a pastor's kid. Both of my parents at the time, they no longer pastor, but they pastored. Grew up, was born in Trenton, New Jersey, moved to North Carolina when I was about 4 years old, preschool age. And then I grew up between Wake County and Johnson County here in North Carolina. So people ask, like, they'd be like, where you from? I tell them North Carolina. So
Done.
I'm not from Dunn. Somebody please put that in the comment section. I am not
Detail.
from Dunn.
Go ahead.
So yeah, grew up singing in the church, grew up playing the drums, grew up
You was playing them drums. Yes,
all
sir.
of that. So like me and John, we go back. I remember when John was a third
come.
grade teacher.
Here it come. A what?
Third grade teacher. What grade was it? It was third grade. I remember.
Elementary.
But that's how long I've known John. He's He's old. I remember John when John had hair.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, it was
It's
all on
Rose
his head and
Jonathan
on his
tonight,
face. But
All right.
yeah, so grew up in North Carolina, and
I
yeah,
had some good hair too. Then it started,
that's why I left.
then it started getting a little cul-de-sac-ish right around about there. And so then I had to, go to my sister Bird, and she got me one of them units. Then I could have whatever kind of hair I want to have. I had a flat
He was
top
getting
one day.
them. I love it.
I started doing some dreads.
I love that for him.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Listen, so let me ask you this about your childhood, since
Okay.
we're there. There was an exercise that we did one time in one of my counseling sessions, and so I want you to try with me. Okay?
We're about to get deep.
Yeah, we're about to get deep.
Okay.
Close your eyes.
Okay.
And I want you to imagine your childhood bedroom, just whatever first one comes to your mind.
Okay.
Describe this room to me.
All right.
Because, before you do that, I'll tell you this, because it's stated that if you can get someone to tap into what their childhood bedroom looked like and the things that they had, you can kind of see a little bit more into that person and who they become today. All right,
Gotcha.
go.
So,
Y'all see if it coincides with who Prophet Jeremiah Davis is. Go.
childhood bedroom that comes to mind. I was in about 5th grade, going into middle school. This when I lived in Smithfield, Wilson Mills.
Wu-Town?
Yeah, right, Wu-Town. And we had a bunk bed in there. We had another bed in there, and then we had a little nightstand with the TV. And it was one of the TVs with the big backs on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
big back TVs.
And then my closet, and then 3 other brothers.
And 3 other brothers.
3 other brothers.
You say you had a bunk bed.
We had a bunk bed, another bed, like a twin bed, and then that nightstand with the TV. And then we had got this king size bed, and we just put it in the middle of the floor.
That's right. That's
And,
what you do.
Yeah, and
That's
we
what
all
you
slept
do.
on the bed.
Oh, y'all was rich, huh?
No, we wasn't rich.
Y'all made it.
Man, you know,
I'm saying, did y'all feel like y'all had made it when y'all got
Yeah,
the king size? I'm
yeah,
saying that
you
because
know.
I ain't never had no king size.
But I shared it with 3 other brothers.
3 other brothers.
Yeah, at one time. So
Wow.
that's before my oldest brother moved out. But I guess the reason why it comes to mind is because I had my brothers with me. It was my twin brother, my oldest brother Hopeton, who passed away in 2006. And then my brother Brian, who was raised by a different family. So I'm adopted. A lot of people may not know that, but
You're adopted.
I'm adopted.
Okay,
so
that's awesome.
My mom that adopted me and my twin brother,
You're a twin and you're adopted.
and I'm adopted.
Wow.
So my mom that adopted me and my twin brother, she found my real family growing up, and we were at one point able to take in my brother from my birth mom.
Gotcha.
And then she had 2 kids of her own. So I mean, sleeping arrangement was crazy. My brother Nehemiah, I kid you not, he slept under the bunk bed.
Really?
I slept on the top bunk, and then my brother Brian slept on the bottom bunk, and then my brother Hope slept on the twin bed whenever he was home. But Nehemiah, if y'all know him, he'll sleep anywhere, on a pile of clothes, under the clothes.
He looked like he'll sleep anywhere.
Yeah, so he slept
Almighty.
under the bunk bed.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow. Isn't that something? Listen, I just want to shout out to everybody and let you guys know that the Gifted Conversation Podcast 2.0 is live and we are here. I want you to be in the comments tonight. I want you to share this. I want you to tag somebody, let them know that we're here having a great conversation, and they are cutting up in these comments. I know, because
It's
the man of
Kira.
God done got tickled.
It's Kira.
Okay? I know it's Kira. It's always Kira. It's always Kira. It's always been Kira. Anyway.
Oh boy.
Since Durham days. I love Kira. That's my baby. Love you, Buki. So yeah, we are live. The whole thing about it is, how many times have you heard in your house, what happens in this house stays in this house?
I've heard it all of my life.
Exactly.
All of my life.
And so with this podcast, we're trying to do the reverse.
Okay.
For those people who were told that, it kind of silenced them.
Oh yeah.
And so, it kind of took their voice away. So we want to be able to put a voice back to that person.
Definitely.
Through highlighting incredible people like yourself with incredible stories, because you have an incredible
appreciate
story.
it.
Absolutely. I've seen it. So to see it live and to see how far you've come, can anything good come out of done?
I'm not from
My
done.
God. Can anything good come out of
That's
done?
all right. You know
And
what?
it
That's
did.
all right.
Wherever you came from.
Not from done.
Jersey. Where you say you came from first? Jersey.
Wake County and Johnson County.
Okay, Wake County and Johnson County.
Not done.
So listen, let's get into this book. What birthed this book out of you?
So life. I'm gonna be honest. I'm about to be super translucent.
Come on, this is a
and
safe place.
transparent.
And the trolls got to go.
Life birthed this book. So you said something just a few minutes ago, or just a few seconds ago, that what happens in this house stays in this house, and especially in the Black community and Black households, we heard that a lot. And working in education, working for the YMCA for 10 years. A lot of those same conversations are still being had, and the thing is that a lot of our kids, a lot of our youth, are being, like you said, being silenced, and they're not able to process their trauma. So for a very long time, even up in like being in college, what happens in this house stays in this house. My parents, they divorced. And I remember people used to ask me, how your mom and dad doing? And I'd be like, oh, yeah, they good. And knowing good and well, my parents are not together.
Yeah.
They're like, well, how's the church? And I'm like, oh, the church is good. Knowing good and well, the church split, people left the church, all of that. And so it was a practice, a learned behavior. It was something that was instilled in us. I got to be honest, like just growing up. And so even working with other youth, they're going through trauma and they're not able to add voice to it. So growing up, I dealt with a lot of low self-esteem, a lot of identity issues, image issues, and it was all because what happens in this house stays in this house. And I'm not saying what we were taught was bad, but you got to think a lot of the stuff that we were taught was passed down from generations to generation, and that's where I think we get a lot of our generational curses from, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of learned behaviors from our ancestors and people before us.
Yeah.
So this book, I was actually supposed to finish it before the pandemic. I started writing it and I stopped because I felt like I wasn't healed enough to complete it. I felt like I wasn't good enough to complete it. And shout out to my bishop real quick, Bishop Aaron McNair, and a former supervisor of mine, Rodney McCormick. These two people were the two people that really pushed me to finish this. I moved to Richmond for a year and a half during the pandemic, and then when I moved back, my supervisor, he was telling me, like JD, that's what he called me at the YMCA. Like you need to finish. And then my bishop, being the person who he is, he was on top of me.
God bless you,
Like,
Bishop.
hey, you need to get it out, finish it, and you don't have to be healed to finish it. But while I was writing it, I found out that a lot of these declarations that I wrote were declarations for me. They were like legit declarations I would say to myself and write down. And then, and it came in pieces, right? The declarations, I had a phone full of them, but I wanted to choose 21 that resonated most with me.
Why the number 21?
Because studies show like when you do things for 21 days, you create new habits, or if you resist something for 21 days, you create new behaviors or you break habits. So 21 days to create new habits. So even in the book, I start off talking about maybe the next 21 days, or don't stop at the 21-day mark, but this is something that you continue to do after your 21 days.
Wow.
And so December, I locked myself away. I went on sabbatical, locked myself away, and I finished writing it. And then, of course, I had to go through the edits and stuff. But February 7th was the first official day that I uploaded it and I published it, hit the publish button. And even that was like nerve-wracking. But yeah, it was because this is something that was intimate for me, something personal.
Yeah.
And so I wrote some things, and then I wrote declarations. I think the last part that I had to go back and do with the declarations is write the actual declarations like, hey, declare this, say this, because a lot of times we think things in our mind, but we don't add volume to it. It goes back to that what happens in this house stays in this house. But a lot of the times, the reason why we're dealing with trauma is because we don't give voice to what we've gone through, or we don't give volume to the things that we've dealt with in our past, or the things that we even dealt with in our household.
Yeah.
You know, I found out therapy, right? Because we were told, you know, my child ain't crazy, or, you know, in a black community is frowned upon. But therapy, right, saved my life, right? I could be honest. I was, at one point, you know, I'm 30, right? I think between 28 and 29, I was like really depressed. And I was like, I need to see a therapist. And I realized seeing a therapist is not a bad thing. It's to help me process some of the trauma that I went through growing up. I was in foster care at one point. A lot of people don't know that. But I experienced trauma in foster care.
Yeah.
And so, again, a lot of the times we're told, you know, don't speak on that or don't say that. Don't bring attention to yourself. When in reality, there are some things that God wants us to give volume to. You know, we're overcome by the words of our testimony. You may not be your complete healed self yet, right? But when you begin to declare things and add volume to it and stand on what you say, as my students would say, stand on business, Mr. Davis. Like when you stand on business, on God. When you stand on it.
Keep talking like them children on my podcast.
When you
out of here.
stand on business in the spirit, right? Nothing can be withheld, right? You give yourself a power, you give yourself authority to like really go forth in the things. So, yeah, this book came from an intimate place, and there's more coming. So,
Wow. Are you a preacher?
I am a preacher. I'm
Wow.
a proud preacher. Proud of it.
That's all right.
He get it in myself.
Uh-oh. They might throw us on Facebook. Throwing up gang sign. All right, but listen. So you tell us about your ministry.
All right. So Jeremiah Davis Ministries, now Jeremiah Davis Enterprise, because what I'm doing is just not I think when we add ministry on it, we limit ourselves to just a church or just to ministry. So it was launched in 2016. And again, even with Jeremiah Davis Ministries, that was a process. Like even walking it, I didn't want to do it. You know, a lot of times growing up in the black church, you didn't go places. You didn't go you didn't send out honorariums. You didn't send out, you know, you go places, you get whatever they gave you in a fruit basket and you keep it moving.
Or a pounding.
Or a pound.
Get some cereal and some grits.
Or some toilet tissue. Something.
That's right. Windex.
But with Jeremiah Davis Ministries, I had to discover what I wanted to do, who I was in God, and who I was holistically. So there are 4 things that I say all the time. If you look on my social media, if you look in my bio, there are 4 things that I believe wholeheartedly, and they are love God, love people, serve God, serve people. So that's what Jeremiah Davis Enterprise do. We love God, we love people, we serve God, we serve people, and that's the goal. I'm real big on secondary leadership, those who serve in leadership in churches or even in businesses. I'm real big on those who are called to be number 2, meaning you are not the CEO, you are not the lead pastor, you might be the assistant pastor, you might be the associate minister. In this season of my life, those are the people that I'm called to pour into. I do something called 5 Nights of Prayer.
Yes.
That happens once a week. It started last year, and I would do it every time I felt the need to do it. But this year, I felt like God has instructed me to do it 1 week out of each month. And so I'm real big on prayer and intercession and just praying on the behalf of people, praying for people. And then, of course, we don't got to get too much into it, but like the prophetic. And I have 25 mentees that I'm mentoring right now.
Really?
With prophetic mentorship
amazing.
And intercession. And
We appreciate
that's a new
you
thing for
tuning
me.
in.
And that's
Here's a
just
word
like,
from our sponsors.
again, me being obedient, but like right in this, right?
Yeah.
This told me like, hey, nothing can be withheld from you. And so like even declaring like I have value, I'm worth it, and I have space in this earth and people. I don't want to get deep or anything.
go ahead.
But like I tell people all the time, like there's an audience for you, and there are a group of people that are literally waiting for you to say yes and launch. A lot of us, we go through restarting. We look at restarting as a bad thing, but I tell people all the time, the beauty of restarting is that you did not decide to stay where you are, or you did not decide to stay in the condition that you are in. So whether you have to restart 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, whether you have to reapply, you may have gotten a no, keep going. Ain't nothing wrong with restarting. Tell those jokers, I almost said something else, to mind their business. Close your ears and
You
your
hear that,
eyes.
jokes? You hear that?
Close your ears to unsolicited advice, right? Keep doing what you do.
So let me ask you this. Does it all still scare you?
Absolutely.
I can tell.
I think
you started talking about it, your forehead started glistening.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
And it's not scary in a fearful way. I just have so much reverence for, number one, God, right? I want to make sure that everything that I'm instructed to do is done in excellence.
Yeah.
And then I love His people so much that I don't want to lead them astray.
Absolutely.
Right? Anything that I do, I don't want it to be. Now I will say there are some things that I desire for people, but even in doing that, I want to make sure like it's, again, done in excellence. I'm not trying to bootleg anybody. I'm not trying to take advantage of everybody, because it is happening, right? In this world, people are being taken advantage of. Friendships aren't as genuine as they used to be.
Yeah, you can say that
What's
again.
a friend? I don't know. No, I know what a friend is.
I know
But
you know what one is, but there's a lot of people out here who don't.
exactly. So, I don't want anybody to feel taken advantage of. I don't want anybody, because again, trauma, right? There are people who come to me with trauma, people who are going through things. So I just have so much reverence. So
That's amazing. That's amazing. Now, you were talking about trauma before. I want to go back to a spot in your book. It's day 6. You guys have to pick up this book. Like, you absolutely have to pick up this book. You can't get enough affirmations. I don't care how many affirmation books you have in your library at home. People ain't even reading no more. Get this book and read it. So day 6 is called I Am Strong.
Okay.
There's a portion in it where you said, well, I'll just read the first part. It says, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you are strong. Mentally, you're stable. The trauma you faced tried to reroute your thinking. It tried to disturb your peace and rob you of your joy. Can you speak to that?
Yeah.
The part where you said the trauma you faced tried to reroute your thinking. What does that mean?
definitely. So, the trauma that you face tried to reroute your thinking. I believe when we come into certain situations, or when we come, or while we're in certain situations, some of us, or a lot of us, we have already failed before we even come out of the situation, because we either deemed ourselves a failure, or we're still struggling with labels that people put on us. And so, speaking mentally, physically, and spiritually, right? A lot of times we talk about the spiritual, like growing up in the church. You know, you need to be spiritually delivered, or you need to be spiritually strong. And it's more than that, right? It's your mental state, your mental health.
Absolutely.
And so, like, even speaking to that, mentally, I'm strong. The trauma, trauma is real, right? Trauma, it doesn't, boy, the saints calling me. Trauma,
They need to be on the line.
trauma, it brings stuff with it. It brings fear.
Absolutely.
Fear never comes alone. Fear brings anxiety. And so a lot of times we are mentally weak, and sometimes we need medicine to help with mental stability, and again, sometimes we need therapy.
Sure.
And then again, those declarations, being mentally strong, declaring over yourself, giving volume to it. So yeah.
Wow. What do affirmations and making declarations of ourselves, what do you feel like it does for us? Not just on a regular level, but like in a spiritual sense. What do you think this does for us?
So I think it depends on just where you are in your life. Because some of the things that I started writing, I didn't believe it at first.
Really?
Right? So there's a lot of things that I had to go back and revisit. There's a lot of things that I had to declare over my life 10, 15 times until I started seeing it and believing it for myself. So I think it has a lot to do with where you are. You know, could you write it and believe it? You know, that's why, again, I go back to adding volume. You know, reading it is one thing, but looking at yourself in the mirror is another thing. and really like speaking to yourself, ministering to yourself. I think the pandemic was, I think it was tough for everybody. It was another traumatic experience. Absolutely. But we didn't have people, right? We didn't have people that we could go and see when we're feeling down or when we were feeling like we needed people around it. Like we couldn't do that. You know, I had my wife, and shout out, man, I love you, girl.
I was about to get that.
Girl, I love you. Yeah.
Wait a minute now, you're gonna be doing all the heavy breathing on that microphone. You grew up in church, you know what color that microphone would turn if you keep doing that.
Right, brown. But like even you know, having her, she helped with like speaking life into me.
That woman changed your life.
She did.
Let me tell you something. From what he used to being done to now,
I was a kid.
She did that.
I was a kid.
By the help of the Holy Ghost.
Oh my goodness.
She did that. I don't care nothing about you being a kid. You knew right from wrong.
Hallelujah,
it's always
God.
The pastor's kids. It's always the pastor's
Thank
kids.
Thank you, God.
Ripped and running them streets.
Wasn't. My parents were crazy.
Now, let me tell you something.
I couldn't get by with nothing.
Your mama would look like, let me tell you something. Your mama will fight a man.
She will.
She will fight a man.
She will shoot you
and
too.
She has.
I know.
She told me.
And she will shoot you.
Yeah, she'll shoot you.
Pastor Davis.
Let me tell you something. We always just called them Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
But we just knew.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, your mama,
both my parents are crazy.
Your mom is an incredible woman. I remember, like, she just would always come and just give me something.
Yeah.
Just, you know, whether it was an encouraging word, put a little piece of money in my
Listen,
hand. You know
she old
saying?
school too. Yeah. So this book is actually dedicated to her.
Wow, that to you. And not your mom.
See,
you know I'm talking about your mama. Go ahead.
I said this book is dedicated to her. It says,
okay, go ahead.
See, so
Read
it says, to my mother, special thanks. I'd like to dedicate this book to my beautiful mother, Dr. Ruth. From birth until present day, she has spoken life into me and would always remind me as much as she could that I am chosen.
Ain't no like your mama now.
She was the one.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
Yeah, definitely.
How many years have you been married, man of God?
Going on 9 years. May 23rd will be 9 long.
They ain't doing that no more.
Years now.
They ain't doing that no more. That's a.
Yeah, it's 9 years. I met my wife back in 2012, fall 2012. She probably cringing right now because I'm about to tell my version of the story.
I don't know why she cringing for, because both of y'all been going at it on the socials about each other.
Right,
These old pictures.
but that was she started it.
That thing sent me to the River Jordan. You and me, for real.
So I met her. We attended St. Augustine's University together. I was a freshman. She was a junior. So.
Both of y'all went to St. Aug.
We both went to St. Aug.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So we started off as like accountability partners, and then she like was like, Jeremiah, I need you in my life, and I can't live without you, and I want you to be my man. And I was like, okay.
First Lady Shamira, put in the comments what really happened, please.
No, that wasn't her.
God, I'm not with him. If you want to strike down a lie, I'm not with him.
Nah, I pursued Shamira. Shamira, if y'all know Shamira is
not that.
She loves people, but she's very protective of her space and of those who she loves. She loves hard. And so I was a very immature 18-year-old. And she was, I think, 19, going on 20 at the time. She's been in college 3 years before I even got there, or it was her third year, my first year. And so she knew a little more than I did. And I think that was a little hard to adjust to because I'm fresh out of high school, right? I'm not used to being around people older than me. And so she helped me mature in a lot of ways. She helped me mature in my clothing, if you know. Now, I will say I did dress like I was from Dunn. Gold suit, gold shoes. Like I was about to go to a quartet concert.
And we had to wear Husky back in them days from Denny's because they ain't have no all these different kind of pair of jeans.
Or the shirts from
let me tell you something.
Roses.
Them pants you had on,
what pants you about to talk about?
I'll never forget them. They were real big because they had a wide waist. They had a wide waist.
It was probably.
I'm talking about big bags. We were wide waist.
I wasn't big.
Who wasn't big?
I wasn't. You probably was. You was big. Now you were kind of bigger than what you are now.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I was like 320 when I graduated from high school.
But now it's me. We reversed. My back is wide. But yeah, we were talking about Shamira, wasn't we?
Yeah, we were.
But yeah, we got married 2015. I was young, she was young, and even with us being married, we've learned so much. That's my best friend. And sometimes I need that reminder. Like, that's my best friend. Nobody, I'm going to say this, I'm saying this now, nobody has had my back like Shamira Davis.
Come on here.
Nobody.
That's what
I
I'm
haven't met
talking about.
anyone like her, and no one can compete. Nobody has had my back like her.
That's all right.
I can hear her now. That's my man. I'm going to stick beside him.
Oh my God. Well, listen, I could literally talk to you for 2 hours about this. And just all the insight that comes from you is always good. Whenever we have a conversation, it's always good. It's always crazy. It's always funny.
Yeah.
But then we also find that one like good spot.
Yeah.
And either I learn something from you or you get something from me.
Definitely.
And it's always so good. I remember some of the times in our lives where it was just like really, it was really difficult.
Yeah.
Our hearts were heavy and that type thing. Was it declarations that got you through?
No, it was declarations that got me through. It was the word of God. I can't take that away. But really speaking into myself and finding myself, finding out who I was. Like I said earlier, I moved to Richmond for a year and a half during the pandemic. And that's like me being obedient to the Holy Spirit for us, me and my wife, to go to Richmond. Us not being around people that we knew or that we were familiar with.
Yeah.
I did meet some amazing people, and they weren't
We were jealous about them pictures.
And they
look
weren't-
at them out there around the fire pit.
and they weren't like some of the people that I knew here. No shade, but like some of the people that I had to encounter was like, I'll use one example. My 28th birthday, my friend Tony that I was working with at the YMCA, my 28th birthday was coming up, and I kind of brushed it off. Like, people was like, we gonna come to your birthday dinner, and then they was like, we can't make it, but he was like, you know what, I'm taking over the plans. He made sure that the people were there, the people that were supposed to be there were there. And he told me, he was like, Jeremiah, you deserve to be celebrated. And that's like one of my things that I took away from Richmond with. So like my 30th was big to me. It was big to me. But like every birthday I tell myself, I deserve to be celebrated.
Yeah.
And again, it's back to those declarations, like, you deserve this. A lot of times we'll put ourselves on the back burner, we'll love on people the hardest, we'll be there for people, when in reality we need to show up for ourselves first.
Yeah.
I had to learn that. I had to show up for me first before I show up for anybody else.
Which also goes back to what we were saying. What happens in this house stays in this house. The reason why you have to have affirmations and you really have to go declare for yourself and read it every day is because of those derogatory connotations.
Exactly.
From growing up in childhood. They did the best they could with what they had at that time.
They
but
did mighty.
a lot of times, what I'm saying, some of the things they said to us tore us down.
Exactly.
Emotionally. Like, and our parents were older. So they didn't know how to raise a millennial or a bunch of
Exactly.
millennials.
Right.
It was like, you're a blue unicorn. What are you doing here? And so with that lack of knowledge, and no kind of shots to them because they just didn't know. But with that lack of knowledge, that has caused some of us to be in a place where we're doing more counseling, more therapy. Some people smoking weed, some people drinking alcohol, whatever you do to like get away from it all, because that's really what it is. Is that we're trying to get away from I used to tell myself a story that there once was a little boy named Jonathan who was a prince. And his mom and dad were a king and queen of this foreign country, and all of a sudden, this war broke out.
Wow.
And they sent him like the baby down the Nile.
Moses.
Sent him just like Moses in a little basket down the river and sent him to a Hodges family
Wow.
to take care of him and keep him safe until the war was over and they would come get him and rescue him. That's the story I told myself about myself. Just to escape the pain, just to escape my reality, basically. I got the family that I needed. I didn't have the family
You
I wanted.
adopted?
No,
Oh.
I'm not adopted.
Oh, you just
I
said.
have some adopted siblings, though.
Okay. All right.
I got a white sister.
Okay, white sister.
I say it all the time like that.
Here,
She
girl.
gets so mad.
You're
But I
done.
love her. But no. I have been in my family all of my life because that's the family God gave me. You know what I'm saying? And then so a lot of traumatizing things happened in my life, and I tried to escape the pain. So I would tell myself that story. Would you say that we tell ourselves stories about what we remember, however we remember it, and get in trouble sometimes? Thinking is something, ain't it?
Right, but that's where the trauma coming in, right? foster care, and it's about to get real deep.
Come
for
on,
a
let's
second.
do it.
So
This is a safe place now. This is a safe place.
the foster home, me and it was me, my twin brother, my youngest sister, who was I think me and my brother, we were about 2 or 3 years old. So my sister was, I think she was 1, and the foster care the foster home that my brother and I was in, we were like abused. I was sexually taken advantage of, molested.
Oh wow.
And went through it, right? Let's talk about trauma, right?
Yes.
I was scrolling on TikTok. I cannot make this story up. I was scrolling on TikTok, and I asked myself, if I ever saw my foster parents, what would I say? Like, if I had the opportunity to have a conversation with them, what would I say to them?
Okay.
Scrolling on TikTok, and I come across. I haven't told you this.
Are you finna cuss?
No, I'm not.
Oh, about to
but
say
this
now,
is about to be
start that.
crazy. And I'm
Because you know what? I say don't start that because you one of the people that I know that if Jesus ever come back and I get left behind and I'm just kind of curious,
I'm like,
I call you.
I'm like, I don't know that man.
If he don't answer this phone, I'm due. I'm due.
I pray I'm ready.
Like, oh, thank you, Jesus. And I just hang up.
But we were, I was on TikTok scrolling, and I come across a story on an Oprah Winfrey show. I don't know if y'all remember this story, and I scrolled past this video so many times. There was a story of, I think it was 4 brothers who were severely malnourished. One of the youngest boys was walking around, and they thought he was a 9-year-old boy. He was eating out of garbage. Somebody called the police, and they found out he was 19 years old. But he was so malnourished that he looked 9. Wow. And so I was like, yo, this is a crazy story. And I dug deeper into the story, right? Found out that the foster home he was staying in was a foster home in New Jersey. And it was the same exact foster home me, my brother, and my youngest sister was in.
Wow.
And we left right before they came.
Wow.
And so I was going through, I'm talking about like, had to look who was the foster mom, who was the foster dad, who were the siblings, because the siblings had a lot to do with some of the trauma that me and my brother experienced in that foster home. And somewhere on my phone is somewhere, and I don't want to go through all of it, but I'm talking about like, I went through the pictures of the investigation, the rooms, the living room, the kitchen, all of that.
Who's all there?
I sent it to my brother because I wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy.
Right.
Sent it to my brother. I didn't say, hey, I'm sending you something. I just sent the pictures to him. And he texted me back. He said, bro, what is this? I said, you know what this is. And he called me on the phone. And he was like, that's the home we was in. Then I sent him the picture of the family. And there it was. Foster mom, foster dad, the kids that they had. The case went to trial. Mom went to jail. Foster dad he died while the trial was going on. So he never was sentenced or anything. He died from a heart attack, right? While all of this was happening. Wow. And so I think back to like what could have been. Now the things that happened, it happened, right? The molestation, the beatings, sometimes we didn't get to eat. But like there was a point in time in my life when I was 13, it was when I told my mom what happened. But even before then, I had this reality in my mind, like, how do I escape this? And it got so bad, like I was acting out, I was angry, and I had to figure out, even at 13, I had to figure out what is the root of all of this. And so even like some of the things that I've gone through in my adulthood, right? Some of the things when it comes to like friendships and relationships. When it came to my marriage, right? I had to like be honest about, okay, this started here, the trauma started here, and I need to face it. Because a lot of times we push it to the back or we create this reality to help us cope, or we do other things to help us cope, and we never deal with it. So what I've learned as a 30-year-old adult is to deal with it, face it, or it's going to overtake you.
Absolutely.
So that's where Declaration's coming at.
Wow.
Thank you, God.
Face it so you can fix it. I just preached. Yeah.
Face it so you can fix it.
Face it so you can fix it. And that's exactly right. You got to face it head on. If you don't, it's just going to keep growing like some nasty mold.
Yeah.
and then become slimy like some nasty poison.
Absolutely.
And it's going to end up killing you. And I dealt with unforgiveness for a very, very long time.
Can we talk about unforgiveness for a second?
Absolutely.
I posted this. I think I posted it. I might have wrote it down somewhere. But unforgiveness, my unforgiveness wasn't towards other people. Now, there were some people I had to forgive, but my unforgiveness was towards me. I had to deal with my unforgiveness towards myself because I like self-condemned myself to a lot of the mistakes that I made, a lot of decisions that I made, and God literally had to tell me, like, hey, you need to, not them, but forgive you. And when I learned to forgive me and embrace forgiveness for myself, that's when I could forgive other people.
I heard a quote, and I think it might be a book. It's called Lord, bless them and fix me. Or change me. Bless them and change me. Because a lot of times we try to cast blame on a lot of people for what's going on in our lives and in our hearts. But it's like, you know what? No, you got the power to change this. Or if you can't change this at the moment, you can change the trajectory of your thinking.
Definitely.
You know, so this is powerful. This book is full of scripture. This book is full of knowledge and wisdom and affirmations on how to just make it. Let me ask you, the things that traumatized you when you were younger, do they still traumatize you to today?
I'm working through it.
Really?
I'm working through it.
What do you do to decompress from it all when it gets heightened?
A lot of prayer. Because I'm honest with myself, I have triggers. And so I have to be honest about my triggers, and I have to communicate my triggers.
That's good. Yes, sir.
And so, like, people who are close to me, you know, like, it might be a conversation, and I don't mean to get too deep into, like, my marriage and stuff, but, like, it might be something that my wife says, but I'll hear it from a whole different space. And so, like, even communicating to her, like, hey, going back and apologizing, like, hey, that's not how I heard it, but I heard it from, and I had to be honest, like, you know, my wife is not out to attack me, but I heard it from that 16-year-old Jeremiah, or that, you know, that 16-year-old era of my life where I felt like people were out to get me, or growing up in the church. You know, I love, and the church has not done me wrong. Let me say that. Because I don't want nobody to take this soundbite and say, Jeremiah talking about the church. No, I'm talking about some of them jokers in the church. Being a PK, right, joker. Being a PK, right? I watch people do my parents wrong. I watch my parents pay people bills or help take care of them, give them grocery, watch the kids, whatever. And I watch those same people turn on my parents or talk about my parents. And being young in ministry, I couldn't say anything about it. So yeah.
Yeah, and your parents are the kind of parents that they still love people past that.
They do.
Now, they smart about it.
They do.
You're going to be doing all what they were doing before, but they still love past people. They love from their spirits and not their hearts. And they're so incredible. But I'm sure that's also traumatizing for you as a young boy, because you're like, Mama, Daddy, why you letting them do this to you?
Right.
Why, you know, what's going on? Like, you ain't see that?
Exactly.
You ain't know Bam Bam was back there talking about you?
Seriously.
And they know it all, but that's true agape love. That's genuine love, unconditional love. And I'm just so glad that, you know, even through your foster care and adoption and that type of thing, that you ended up with the family that you needed.
Definitely.
You know, shout out to your family. I love all them.
Love y'all.
So what's left to fulfill for Prophet Jeremiah Davis?
I am where I am as far as like ministry.
Let's talk about your ministry. I'm sorry. Shout out to your ministry.
We talked about it.
We done talked about it?
Yeah.
We talked about Bishop, but you ain't said the name of the church, did it?
Oh, Mount Moriah Community Church,
and they
Raleigh,
in the comments for you.
and Raleigh, North Carolina.
All right.
I
got
go.
a sister church, right?
We got sister churches.
Come on.
We got 6 locations. Life Changing Fellowship. It's Life Changing Ministries International Fellowship.
Now who got that one?
That's Apostle. He's Apostle Aaron McNair.
Daddy man.
He's over that. That's a Farmville location.
Lord. Yes,
we have
Lord.
a Clinton location. We have Raleigh, Wilson, Asheboro. And
Asheboro?
Yes.
I don't know how to get to Asheboro.
It's in the mountains, I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
You ain't been up there, man?
Not yet.
Okay.
But we going because Bishop Brandon, not Bishop, Pastor Brandon.
Bishop Brandon. The Lord
Pastor
is calling
Brandon,
you higher
he
by
just
way
got
of
a
prophet.
building in Asheboro. So
Oh, that's good.
our fellowship is going to help them celebrate and dedicate their building. But I go to Mount Moriah Community Church, one of the best churches in Raleigh. I tell
is a
people
great
this all the time. MMCC Raleigh saved my life.
That's awesome.
When I joined Mount Moriah, I was coming from my parents' church. My parents had divorced, or at the time separated, and I needed somewhere for me and my wife to grow. Not saying that I wasn't growing. I was just done growing where I was. My mom released me to go, and we went. I met with Bishop. Bishop did not introduce, like he of course he introduced himself. Lady Ashley introduced herself, but it wasn't about them. It was solely about the church. And I learned who they were through the church. Yeah. And so MMCC Raleigh saved my life. The people there was being preached, was being taught. We are doing it. Our church just hit 200 members. I don't know what it is about 2024, but
that's all
the
right.
prophecies are being fulfilled. The people are coming. And I was member number 16. I posted this yesterday. I was member number 16. My wife was 17. And now we have 200 active members.
That's amazing.
And so I need y'all to come see for yourself what is going on at MMCC Raleigh here in Raleigh, North Carolina.
It's an amazing church. I've been,
telling you.
my god sister Kaylin is there, and she has changed so much. Too. I'm
Yes.
telling you, that church has changed a lot
told
of
her
young
that.
people.
I told her that. I'm
Yeah,
so
because
proud of
y'all
her.
used to be ratchet.
Not me.
You hear me?
Maybe a little bit.
Ratchet.
But I'm so like watching them come from college and like they're
They were
adulting.
young.
I know
They were young.
They're adulting.
Yeah.
Relationships, friendships. I don't mean to blast them, but like their friend circle. I admire their friend circle because they just don't like eat dinner together. They fast together, and that's the type of people you need in your
Absolutely.
life. That's the type of
Absolutely.
people you need.
Absolutely.
So shout out to y'all. I'm proud of y'all, Kaylin, all y'all, Alex. I'm proud of y'all.
I know them too.
On Facebook Live, I'm proud of y'all.
He said it. He said it here first on the Gift of Conversation Podcast 2.0. Just want to reset the room and the atmosphere and everything. I'm speaking to Prophet Jeremiah Davis. Thank you guys so much for being with us today. We've had an amazing conversation tonight about his new book called Declare, 21 Days of Positive Affirmations. I know you guys can use this. So where can we find this book, Prophet?
You can go to my website. It is jeremiahdavis.net. And then you'll hit the shop link, and if you scroll down, you'll see the book link for it. Or you could go to lulu.com, LULU.com, and you could type my name in the search box, Jeremiah Davis, and it'll come up, and you could purchase there.
I ain't even got that. That's good. Come on, lulu.com. That's all right. Listen, I want you guys to make sure that you, what's your Cash App, man of God? Tell them your Cash App.
So the Cash App is $JD Ministries. $JD Ministries. MINISTRIES.
Amen.
Ministries.
Yes, Lord. Y'all go and support the man of God. Send him a little money to his Cash App. Send him a little change. Y'all got a little change. Y'all done ate at McDonald's all week. Go send that man some money. And for his insight tonight.
Yeah.
And just to let him know that you appreciate him. Also pick up a copy of this book, Declare, 21 Days of Positive Affirmation. So listen, I got one more question for you, man of God. Before you go, I appreciate you coming, first of all. This is so, I cannot believe this. This is so amazing. Jose, did we get right or no? Did we fix that or no? That little commercial thing. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to run it one more time before we get out of here because I want to make sure I take care of my sponsors and all of my partners and the people who have poured into us to make this all possible. Shout out to TMG Studios, to Mr. Jose Nunez, who is our engineer and our producer, also to the other guys who are here at TMG. But one last question, Prophet Jeremiah Davis, I'm going to let you go.
What's up?
The question is, because this is the Gift of Conversation Podcast 2.0, y'all look us up on YouTube, and TikTok and Facebook and all that other stuff. Look at us because we're going to be looking at y'all.
Okay.
The question is, if you could have a conversation with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be? And what would you ask?
What would I ask?
Who would it be? And what would
Could
you
it be
ask?
like, what would I say?
Or what would you say?
Okay. It would be with.
I feel like I need to take a breath. Hold on.
Yeah.
You too. You do that.
I'm gonna take a breath.
All right, yeah, just take a breath. Like inhale, smell the flower, blow out the candle. Because I'm telling you, man of God, I felt that. Like, I don't know where you finna go, but y'all just pray and we're going to cover you. You're good. This is a safe place. Go for it.
It would be with my 16-year-old self. And I would tell him,
take your time.
hey, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be hard. But don't give up. Take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way. And that you have permission to be healed. You have permission to be where you are, and you have permission to be healed. Embrace healing. Embrace your support system. Some people are going to come. Some people are going to go. But trust your instinct. Trust yourself. And trust God. Yeah.
Now my eyes watering. My eyes sweating right now.
Woo!
Vapor. Let me tell you something. I ain't doing this with you tonight, man of God. I'm not going to do this with you tonight. That is so powerful.
Man.
And I appreciate the bravery and the courage that it took to say that on such a public platform. Years from now, they could, when you make millions, they could try to go back and say something about it. You know what? Forget them people. I appreciate that. That's how people are healed.
Definitely.
With the whole, we're going to go full circle right here. With the whole, what happens in this house stays in this house. It takes a voice away from that person. And we've gone years and years of not talking, not communicating, not expressing how we feel.
Absolutely.
Because it's a do as I say, not as I do. And so it's because I said so. And, shout out to my parents. Still love y'all. Thank you for every whooping. You know what I'm saying?
Every whooping.
Because I needed it.
Every tail whooping.
And I'm starting to see it through my kids, too. You and your wife got kids yet?
Not yet.
It's
not
coming.
yet. It's coming.
All right.
He could have
Not yet. That's it. This your last Father's Day, not a father.
I receive it.
Jesus. All right, but no, what I was saying was that, we're going years without talking or expressing ourselves. And shout out to our parents because I needed it. And I'm starting to see it through my kids. That's why I asked, did y'all have kids? I'm starting to see it through my kids. I'm just like, them two oldest boys of mine. One of them just lifted their head. Oh, you Gates. My son in here with me tonight. But no, them two oldest ones, they are just like me. Just like me. And my kids are adopted, but a blood test will lie.
Right.
Either they look like me or they act like me.
The blood test lies.
I'm telling you, blood test lies.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a lot of that stuff that was in me, and I prayed this DNA prayer when I first got like all of my kids or whatever. So a couple of them I got at birth, and then the other ones are kind of spread out. But those ones that I got at birth, I was like, Lord, please take everything good in me and put it inside of them. And I was cool and I was content with that prayer. I was like, all right, this is my baby, whatever. And doggone if it want my baby, because I started seeing some stuff, and I'm like, oh God, I ain't want that. I ain't want that one now. Not like that. I ain't want that to be in them. Right. But he showed me in that moment. He was like, this could have been for your good also. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is your second chance at childhood. You have an opportunity to put these kids in a great space. And so I'm honored that, my kids chose me. I feel like our kids choose us, and I'm honored with that. And I said that to say this, that, a lot of people talking about having good days and bad days and that type of thing, but it's life. And so my new philosophy is, if you have a good day, enjoy it. Enjoy it. If you have a bad day, learn from it.
Because at the end of the day got to come to an end.
At the end of the day, it's done.
Yeah, glow.
Wow. Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm busy.
It's done. We just got to be done because you going way back. It's 8:30. That's my time. But listen, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Prophet Jeremiah Davis. Sir. Where can they find you?
Everything, I am Jeremiah Davis. TikTok, I am Jeremiah Davis. Instagram, I am Jeremiah Davis. And then Facebook, Jeremiah Davis.
All right, sounds good. Yep. And it's just like it's spelled.
Yeah, like JEREMIAH.
The Bible. Go to the Bible.
Go to the Bible.
And then go to the Davis Singers, because you got related.
Who?
From Dunn. Never mind.
No, we are not.
All right, y'all, listen. Until the next time, I want you to be here, be set free, be delivered. Whatever affirmations you got to give yourself that, because you deserve it. Yeah. Why? Because you were born. That's it. That's the only explanation you got to give anybody, including yourself. Until next time, stay at peace and not in pieces. Let's run that commercial and see if it works now. You doing it, Jose, or me? Okay, here I go. We appreciate you tuning in. Here's a word from our sponsors. Hey guys, today's podcast is brought to you by TMG Studios. The Ultimate Content Creator Studio is near downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. TMG Studios has helped launch several fully branded and monetized podcasts. Their modern video podcast studio is designed to help you reach your target audience and monetize your social media content. Reach out to them today at tmgstudios333.com. That web address again is www.tmgstudios333.com. Hey Convo Kings and Convo Queens, we are on YouTube. Go type in the Gift of Conversation Podcast 2.0 and never miss your favorite episodes.
This is Sister Sharice. You are listening to the world's best online radio station, KPMM Radio. I want to invite you to tune in to Answer the Call with Pastor Neil and me, Sister Sharice, on Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, or if you're on the East Coast, 1 p.m. And if you happen to miss us, don't worry. We are on again Wednesday morning, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time and 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Answer the call. Your time.
I'm sorry,
You
I
like
have
been
you
playing
fighting
golf,
them
man.
people. Golf?
Is that what now?
I'd have you fighting some of them people.
I would, you know.
Yeah, that's why it's probably best that you don't join.
You know what? And
That,
Pastor
Sean
Matt knew that
Bright.
too. That's why he ain't coming back.
Yeah, that right?
Ain't gonna be no right.
No, I'm saying that right.
Oh.
Yeah. So-called best.